Australian government has announced, the details are still not being in the public domain yet, that there will be 3 hours of free electricity as a default tariff from 1st
Yep.
of July, which I find really fascinating because peak of peak tariffs have been everywhere. But this is an off-peak
Yeah.
tariff with zero price. Suddenly it gets
Right.
the attention, right? The impact could be huge, and it's such a smart policy. What are your take on this?
It is because one of the challenges with renewables is that in a lot of areas, we put so much renewables online that at certain times we have to curtail it or we have to push that power somewhere else. And so I'm in California. And as an example, some days California creates too much solar essentially to feed into the grid. And so the grid operators actually use the Western grid as a battery. And what I mean by that is that when they're creating excess power, they'll push it into Utah and Nevada and other areas. And they're basically paying those other areas to take our power. And in some areas, the cost of power at the wholesale level is negative at those points in time. So California is basically giving free energy to some of the other Western states. Instead, if we had enough batteries and we had the same program, we could give free energy back to our customers here in California. So doing that kind of program in Australia is really smart because what they've realized is they do have excess capacity. And if they can basically just provide that, it's a subsidy.
It's a demand shift. Yeah.
It's free excess. You've got that free excess power that can be provided to the customers. So it's a benefit to the overall grid and the customers anyway.
Yeah. And also the argument that the people in condominiums, people are in the multi-story apartments who do not have access to roof can also benefit out of this, so that the income disparity or whatever you want to define, but the issue is it's an access for everybody.
Right.
And it benefits the sort of low duration curve in a way because you're dragging those evening dryers, washer, heating, slab heating during the day because the electricity is free, and electric car and everything, right? Pile up your demand
Yep.
because right
Yep.
now in the middle of the day, when you have a really sunny, hot day, sort of system demand can be negative in the middle of the day, pushing to negative prices because the big
Right.
coal power station trying to stay on and bidding negative price, right?
Yep. Yep. I think too, with those kind of opportunities to be able to provide energy to lower income citizens or people that are disadvantaged, if you have an excess capacity, why not provide it? The other thing, Sohail, I don't know if you've seen, but there's companies now that are doing what are called balcony solar. So they make panels that you can basically mount on your rail. And I know Utah has passed legislation that allows you to put in balcony solar and you can just plug it in. So you plug it straight into your AC wall and it's running your meter backwards essentially. So it's an easy way for somebody to plug solar in and reduce their cost overall of their energy, even if they're in an apartment like that where they don't have a rooftop and maybe it doesn't run their entire home. It does allow them to reduce their cost in one way or another. So I think that we're going to see a lot more of that. I know that we've seen community solar here in the US has been fairly popular for the last few years. It's really started to take off where you'll put in an array in an area and then that power gets sold into the community. And a lot of times it might be like maybe a third of it goes to commercial customers, a third of it goes to small commercial customers, and maybe a third of it goes to like low income or disadvantaged communities. So it's early stages of democratization of those energy assets. But again, as we like with BPP and AI and some of this excess capacity, you can really start to optimize those costs, figure out how to essentially create more abundance within that excess capacity than what there has been in the past.
Yeah, balcony solar is something so powerful. Although we are not allowed to do that in Australia, I wanted to put a fence with solar panel because solar panel is so cheap now.
Yeah.
And I interviewed someone, Dr. Enebish. He actually has the boundary of his house with solar panels and he pushes back to the grid. So yeah, once everyone starts doing that, and balcony solar is really an amazing thing. And if you are able to plug in directly, wow. So it comes with its microinverter, right?
Yeah, it's got a microinverter. You can just plug it straight into your AC.